Zambian people. This is indeed Friday the 13th speech. Because the path where we are today, which has led us to the problems that we are going through as a country, that now you want every one of us to join you, are things that we warned you in 2011, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016. And I'll seek to demonstrate using a few sectors and subsectors. The issue that the president now is talking about debt servicing and how he's lamenting now, that is unacceptable. I recall sitting there. We warned you, don't go to expensive sources of borrowing. And there were ministers there who were celebrating over the Eurobond, jumping up and down like toddlers overfed with breast milk, celebrating the borrowing via the Eurobond. We said, right, you have gone that route. Even when they came back with the Eurobond, they had no projects in mind, and the money ended up sitting in the Bank of Zambia.
Point of order.
Money ended up sitting in the bank.
Honorable members, let me say this. I will not allow that point of order from the minister. However, I will ask the honorable member who is debating to withdraw the statement which included Todra. And this is because, starting from tomorrow, we'll be having the ministers responding to whatever is going on in here. And so points of order will be very much reluctant.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Speaker. The point I was driving, I've withdrawn, like toddlers. I've replaced it with so much unprecedented excitement that was puzzling to some of us, because we knew that you are leading this country into debt that we are not easily going to come out. It is very strange now today that PF can turn around and say we are spending so much money on debt servicing. Even then, the country had options to go to concessional borrowing, concessional loans. As early as 2015, 2017, we were made known, we were informed by the IMF, by ADA, that Zambia's debt situation was becoming a distress. We are no longer sustainable from 2015. People celebrated over the Eurobond. They were jumping up and down. And when I say jumping up and down, I'm telling you, real, it was real. People were celebrating, calling it Eurobond. The money that went to Zambia Railways today, if you ask how much of that was used to improve the operations of Zambia Railways, you get a different story from the board, you get a different story from management, you get a different story from government. Went. We said, okay, you have recklessly borrowed, but can you put this money into some of the climate change mitigation measures, such as small earth dams for our farmers in rural areas? You never wanted to do that. Today you are coming and say, because of climate change, we have problems. If interventions were put using that highly expensive money into areas that we are likely to bring reward into the nation, we would not have been talking about what we are talking about. Even the roads that you are talking about today, at what cost to this nation, first of all. Secondly, when you are starving and you are boasting about having roads, meanwhile people are dying of hunger in the nation, what have you resolved? There's been insinuations here that the reason why some projects have not been completed is because money for projects such as roads infrastructure has gone to debt servicing or in mitigations for climate change effects. Now, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of National Planning, and the Minister responsible for natural resources should help the colleagues in the cabinet to understand that together with the Paris Agreement, was also money put in the basket for countries that came up with nationally determined priorities, and that money is available. So they didn't need, in their own argument, they didn't need to go and use the money that was intended for other projects to go into climate change mitigations. Even the little mitigations that are going through in the Luangwa Valley, in the Zambezi Valley, and in parts of Choma are as a result of the intervention from the international community. And that money is still sitting. This is where governments differ. Under UPND, we could have gone to get that money that is sitting under the basket fund, under the Paris Agreement, to intervene in the areas that have been affected by climate change. Than to sit here and lament and say there's climate change and therefore there's nothing that we can do. So debt and sustainability can never be an excuse. You sat there, you are very excited. IMF warned you, don't go to expensive sources. You are running, and we are saying, look, this is unprecedented in this country. Interestingly, sir, Honorable Mr. Speaker, we are told that now PF wants to do more with less. When they had abundance, they did nothing, or they did negative. Now with less. I've said here before that Nako who squandered his pension money. When he was in UTH, that's when he was thinking of building mansions on a deathbed. You are about to die and you are now telling you are going to do better in your deathbed than when you arrive. That's a mystery. We cannot believe that story. You are not going to do it. You know it even yourselves. You have squandered the opportunity that you had. You have squandered the monies that MMD left in the coffers. So who are you going to convince today that you are going to do better? With less or with nothing? In fact, less is an understatement. It's nothing. When you are in debt, you are in debt. You have nothing. You have negatives. The energy subsector, sir. A small solution, localized solution like the one at Shiwangandu, you can do it with between $1 million and $2 million. Today, as we sit, that's why those who went to buy those fire tenders and ambulances must be feeling bad if they are conscious. Each one of those ambulances would have provided a small localized solutions right from Mansa all the way up to Cherenge and come to parts of northern province where there is water. It can do a 1 to 2 megawatts if you didn't know. Smaller districts you are creating now, centers like Lavushi, Manda, Pemba, you can do it with $200,000. You can light it. Now today you are crying over climate change. The whole of northern province, northwestern province, Ruapura province, who could have wind it from the electricity that is coming south, where there's a problem with water. Those are practical solutions that you could have done than to go and buy fire tenders and ambulances. So you are coming here, no, there's a problem. At the point, I hope you are also aware as a government that Zimbabwe owed Zambia $70 million at the point of separating from the Central Power Corporation. And you want to know, as a citizen and as stakeholders in this session, have you been paid the 114 million that had accumulated? Then you go and start negotiating for Batoka Gorge to be financed using Zambia's borrowing, undertaking the borrowings of Zimbabwe, who have not paid you 70 million plus interest to $114 million. If that money has been paid, where have you invested it, if not in electricity? So, you are crying today about climate change. Your neighbor owes you money. You can't go and correct it. Then you are telling Zambians that they must pay more because there will be no power, there will be no this. And when you go, by the way, to that project, the preparations on the Zimbabwean side are better than on the Zambian side. Batoka Gorge, you go there. At least I went there with my committee. Meanwhile, you are the ones underwriting the loan for Zimbabwe. Where's the logic there? Where's the argument about problems there? Typical 5 unwise virgins who ran out of oil in the midst of abundance. Constitutional making process. I hear some people there saying, look, there are good things and good parts in this constitutional making process, let's move and so on, isolated. Sir, It's like a definer telling you that because he gave the child a sweet, there were sweet things in the defilement. There's nothing good about the process that PF has embarked on. It's a total defilement. And it must be called as such. Whether there were sweets or anything given in it, it's bad. You can't. We've told you before that the process will protect the content. There was a doctor of law sitting somewhere there. We argued the whole night. I was sitting there. We voted on every item. It's good that the honorable member for Kabwe Central has acknowledged that on your side there are people who voted themselves out of parliament because they didn't even have grade 12. Some of you came with grade 12 equivalent. Me, I had grade 12. And again, you have embarked on the process. What is even a mystery to us is the argument where you think that the constitution-making process of 2015, which culminated in the Constitutional Amendment Act number 1 and number 2 of 2016, was a success for PF, and that the Zambians have given you that mandate and you do it anyway. That is one of the worst things that you have done as PF, to create or to come into cause the Constitutional Amendment Act number 1 and number 2 of 2016. That's why within a year you were already saying you must amend it. Tell me if that's not a disaster. Ever since this country became Zambia, tell me which government has come twice in a very short space of time to say want to amend the constitution, which you presided. Where I was seated there and I voted against every clause because I knew. I voted against certainly. And I'm going to do it again anyway. And as UPND, we are going to draw a three-line whipping system. You are not going to have our vote over this amendment act that you are proposing. You will not have it. We've been vindicated. We've been vindicated. We are not about to betray the Zambian people over the constitution-making process. To appear insolent here and say whatever happens, we are going to use it and pass it.
Order.
It says,
order. Go ahead.
It's very strange. I've heard very strange arguments there, that now they want to use delimitation as a scarecrow for citizens to go via this constitutional amendment process. Are you aware that you can bring just that particular part on delimitation alone without tampering with anything else? Have you ever read the Constitutional Amendment Act number 2, Articles 58 and 59? Go and read. You pass it in the night, now it's in the day. Go and read. It's plain truth. No matter how many scarecrows you want to plant in this constitution-making process, the Zambian people have said no. Allow me to invoke what the late President Michael Sata used to say. Those whom the gods are about to destroy, he makes them crazy first. This is what we are going through today over the constitution-making process. By the way, the constitution is for the people of Zambia, not us seated here. It's for us, we the people, including the people I represent there. I hear people here talk about it's a fight between UPND and the PF. It's not. It's between you and the people of Zambia. And us, we shall stand with the people of Zambia on the right side. And they know who's credible between yourselves and ourselves. We have been challenged here to offer solutions. Me, I want to propose 2 or 3. Number 1. Solution number 1 is to remove you brothers and sisters from the government who have solved the bigger problem for this nation. Right now, you are the hindrance to the development of this nation. You are the problem. You are the hindrance to a people-driven constitution. Don't draw the chair in your failures. The chair will remain chairing you, brothers and sisters. You must go.
Honorable. Order.
The door is open.
Honorable. Speak through the chair indeed, so that you are fully protected.
Thank you, Thank you, Honorable Mr. Speaker. Second solution, we have grappled on this issue of
Through the
corruption.
chair.
Honorable Mr. Speaker, we are troubled by this issue of corruption. My second proposal to them is that we amend the law. All those politicians who are found wanting in the area of corruption, instead of being given 21 gun salutes, they must be given 21 strokes of shambok in public. In addition to custodial sentences, they are a problem. We are tired of hearing the same story of politicians never wanting to cease to be engaged in corruption. Maybe shamboks on the back will restrain some people. They will learn that 48 houses, when you build them, you must own them. Than to just plant the houses in the bush. Number 3 is to pay back the money, including those who stayed in office illegally, despite being advised, go and pay back the money. I saw a statement today from the Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet. I hope it is him who was quoted correctly. That he is waiting for the money. Take it there. So that we take it to climate change mitigation dams in Barbara constituency. I don't want to buttress or emphasize the issue of hunger in the nation. When a government ceases to see hunger and these citizens are dying, what do you do to such a people? Sir, if it were you. In the days of old, those are people to be stoned.
Honorable
But
member,
now we will not be stoning them. We
don't
just have
drag
to
the
shamble
chair.
them
Hello,
so that they
order.
know that the people are suffering.
Honorable member, the chair is following you very well. And don't ask questions to the person you know that
Thank you, Honorable Mr.
he will
Speaker.
not
Those
respond.
Those people
Otherwise,
have troubled me, sir. From 2011, I'm now losing my patience. Zambians must help me by removing them from power. Once and for all. I sympathize with a few good men. Those few good men, they can continue to work with me even after 2021. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.